It's a story about King Canute. It's a narrative poem, the story of King Canute. I was taken to task when I did this recently. There was a professor of history in the audience. And this professor of history reckons that King Canute was not in the habit of taking his holidays at Cleethorpes. And he also reckoned that King Canute's castle was not in Oldham. Well, frankly, I'm fed up with experts. And for the purposes of this poem, King Canute's castle will remain in Oldham because it provided me with a very convenient rhyme in the first line. So this is the story of King Canute at Cleethorpes. Now, King Canute of England had a palace up in Oldham with lots of grovelling servants who did everything he told them. He bellowed out his orders and he made his fingers click, and anything he wanted would appear in half a tick. But kings get bored in palaces, and soon he did decide he'd like to spend a day just messing about at seaside. He said, "I'll go to Cleethorpes, get me bucket, get me spade." And there upon the beach a royal sand castle was made. All day he built his battlements beside the salty seas, and then he had his supper, fish and chips and... His snivelling servant said,
"Oh, King, your sandcastle is wondrous, but is it strong enough to stand against these waves that break so thunderous?"
"I shall turn the tide," he said. "I'll summon up me power."
They said, "Oh, get a move on, 'cause it's due in half an hour."
He cried, "This castle I have made from Cleethorpes' soggy sand shall never ever be destroyed, forever it will stand. Go back, you wayward waves, for I, the king, command it." But waves do not speak English, and they didn't understand it. Up the sand the breakers crashed. Oh, it was a dreadful sight to see him start to shiver and his tootsies turn all white. Go back, he screamed and screamed until his face was blue, "for I am King Canute and much more powerful than you." But ever inwards came the waves, and frankly it was shocking to see the way his horribly knobbly kneecaps started knocking. The water rose above his waist, but still he cried, "Go back! If I'd intended getting wet, I would have brought me back." By now, the royal sand castle was getting slightly wet. "You wild and wicked waves," he seethed, "I'll make you turn back yet." But the sea refused to listen, and soon covered up his head. And now you won't be surprised to learn that King Canute is dead. But if you get up early and walk out on Cleethorpes Pier, you'll hear a ghostly whisper if you care to cock an ear. "I am Canute, an Englishman. This castle is my home." His voice will echo wildly in the seething, swirling foam. But castles built of sand are not as strong as bricks and mortar, and certainly in Cleethorpes end up 10 feet